Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Aaron Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Aaron Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we are freezing as we cover every song from 7 to Y. Why are we so cold? You left us out here in the cold for so long that we just didn't feel right knocking on the door. After that big fight that we had at the food party last week, you stormed off, and you did let us know how you really felt about it. We followed you home and just stood there because we didn't want to knock on the door. But you opened the door for us and let us back in. So we're glad that you rejoined us after the fools that we were last week. You trusted us with your feelings, and we dashed them to the rocks. We're sorry. Thank you for letting us back in. So we could discuss this week's song, Footprints.
That was intense.
For those of you who don't know the song, let's listen to a snippet.
I followed footprints in the snow, never knowing if I was right behind you. Looking down, no one would know I wasn't walking hand in hand beside you.
So, as you heard, we have with us this week Aaron. We are still without Michelle
indeed.
for hopefully only one more week, and then we'll have her back. We're hoping soon. We'll have her thoughts on the song a little bit later in the episode.
We miss you, Michelle.
We do. I thoroughly miss having all three of us in the same conference together.
Most definitely.
It's sad. We'll let her in the door when she comes back. We won't make her stand out in the cold. But for now, instead of giving her the cold shoulder, let's focus instead on you, Aaron.
Yes.
What album is this song from?
Well, it's a Christmas song.
Oh, but that could be a trick.
That drastically limits it. I'm guessing, and I don't recall the name of the album. You'll have to forgive me, but I'm guessing it's off the same album as Christmas Time, Oh Yeah, and Deck the Stills, and all those other good ones.
Yes. Barenaked for the Holidays.
Barenaked for the Holidays, yeah.
It is indeed. It's not a trick.
It could go in another album, though. Like, I could see this being in the same album as Adrift. What was that? Was that...
Barenaked Ladies Are Me.
Are Me, yeah. It's got that kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of interesting because it's not a highly Christmassy tune. Like, it has a slight Christmassy feel, but it could be there for other parts of the year as well. It just, because it has some themes of Christmas to it and talks about...
Well, it says now it's almost Christmas Eve, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely about Christmas, and it's around Christmas Eve. Right. But...
I agree, though. It's beyond... It's not just a Christmas song.
And I think it's a beautiful song of mistakes and deception, of forgiveness and reunion. I think it's really interesting. So let's dive into this song before we get too far into me just talking about whether or not I like this song. Aaron, break it down for us.
All right, let's break it down.
Break down, break down, break down. Aaron's gonna talk about chord structure and time.
Okay, Footprints was recorded at approximately 108 beats per minute. It is in the key of G major. The structure is interesting. It's not a typical kind of pop rock song structure per se. You have the intro, which we'll call the A section. The verse is also really the A section. It's the same changes. In fact, much of this tune is the same chord changes over and over. Although there is some kind of variation, they kind of bounce here and there, but it almost entirely a 1-4-5 song. If you look at the verse structure, you get like a C to G, a C to D to G to D to G. So it's bouncing from the 4 to the 5th to the 1 to the 5th to the 1, up and down. Sometimes you get C, D, C, G, so 1, 5, 4, 1. And variations on that 1-4-5, but it's it's still very much a 1-4-5 kind of song. It's there's nothing groundbreaking or exotic about the chords.
No, it's very simple.
Yeah, but you get like an intro, verse. So you get let's see. It's intro, verse 1, verse 2, chorus / bridge, which I thought it was the chorus when they first hit it, but they don't come back to it. And it's the only section that's really different. So I'm more inclined to call it a bridge. But that's our B section. It's really the only other section in the song as far as chord changes are concerned. Which you get a D, G, A, B, F, E, which is a 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. But interestingly enough, I'm not even really sure that's what they're doing here, because it almost implies a key change. A key change to, I think, B minor, which it enters through the move to the F, which is the 5th degree of that key. So you can resolve down to B minor as the tonic. I think there's an implied key change there. It changes the feel quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it is a key change to B minor. Coming out of that, they hit the G chord and they play the same riff twice. So you get it first time playing over the minor feel, and then they're hammering that G chord, and it's a G major, and it changes the way that you hear that same riff at the end. The standing in the snow, they say, standing in the snow, standing in the snow. And it's the same vocal line twice, but the second time it doesn't sound so minor or sad. It's kind of uplifting, because you get that change back to G major. So that's kind of interesting, and then we go back to verse 3, verse 4, so you get A again, and the outro is also the A changes. So it's A, B, A, or if you don't count the intro, it's A, B, A, or if you don't count the intro and the outro, it's A, B, A. Either way, it's a palindrome, which I like. It appeals to my sense of symmetry. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, at first I was a little frustrated by the lack of changes in the song. You get A. You get that A section a lot, and it's mostly 1-4-5. But I also kind of started to think about it in the context of what it was, which is it's a Christmas tune. And you get a lot of tunes, like Christmas tunes especially, where it's just the same thing over and over. Like think of the 12 Days of Christmas, or like Deck the Halls and stuff like that. Yeah, they keep repeating.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. That one is not only an earworm, but it will eat a hole into your head.
Well, I don't want to get involved in any holy wars here. But a lot of, especially traditional like carols, are very repetitious. So it sort of fits in with that thematically. I don't know. I felt a little bit. It kind of reminds me of one of those nondescript, vaguely holiday-sounding songs that they play in like a mall or a department store that never really go anywhere. I suppose the lyrics and the B section kind of save it from falling into that level of banality.
Right.
I would have to,
because the lyrics aren't basic and do go somewhere.
I think, and interestingly enough, we talked about this before, how I'm more of a music guy and you might be more of a lyrics guy, or maybe you're the bridge in between. I think Bobby's the lyrics guy. But I think the lyrics are more interesting than the musical content. I don't think the musical content is bad. But I would have to compare it to something like Christmas Time, Oh Yeah, which I actually do prefer to this song musically. It's no Deck the Stills, that's for sure. That's my breakdown.
Here's what I think is interesting. Like, it sounds like a really simple song. Right. But lyrically, let's talk about the rhyme scheme for a moment. If it rhymes, I'm going to put a similar letter to it for people who don't remember basic poetry back in high school. So, in the first verse, we have A, B, A, B, A, C, B, B. So what we have there is, and the reason I threw a C in there is, we have in there 2 lines throughout this song that don't rhyme with anything. And I didn't pick up on it until I was typing this out, which talks a lot to how this song can actually catch you, that it doesn't make you listen for those rhymes. But it's interesting that so he goes A, B, A, B, A, C, B, B. And then we got A, B, A, B, A, B, B, A, B, A, B, A, C, B, B.
Is this how you feel when I start talking about the chords and stuff? Because there are times it's the lines rhyming each other. They have the rhyme scheme. But yeah, I didn't even think
Well, the rhyme scheme that we usually look to is A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, or A, B, B, A, B, B, where they consistently stick to it. But he doesn't. Within the same verse, he goes from A, B, to then switching to a double rhyme in a row, and then a double rhyme in a row, and does that throughout the next 2 of them. And then throughout the song twice, there are 2 that don't have any rhymes at all.
I was going to say if I'd paid more attention in English class in high school, but I honestly did pay quite a bit of attention. I just think it's the years and the alcohol probably. But I know that this is quite potentially. I don't think it's like a sonnet or anything like that, but it may be a known form. So if you're listening out there, poetry fans, and you recognize this rhyme scheme, go ahead and Google the lyrics to Footprints that Tracy's talking about. Let us know. I'd be very curious to see if this is like a variation on a known rhyme scheme, or if this is just him kind of going off page here. But I agree. It's not as straightforward as a lot of their songs are. Correct. Yeah. And
so let's talk about the words themselves for a second. Let's talk about the lyrics and the story that this song tells. It's a partially happy story, but it's about a narrator who's not perfect. Mm-hmm. We have, again, this narrator in the story talking about the other person, who the woman in the story, who is very nice, or at least he is portrayed nicely by the narrator, and the narrator is showing faults of their own and admitting to those faults.
To give is better than to deceive.
Well, and a fitting end for the fool that I was, and so many little things in there, like saying about how mistaken he was, and that the fight was his fault.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a mea culpa song. The interesting thing to me is the imagery in the song, and I think it's an apt metaphor to compare, feeling maybe left outside of someone, access to someone who makes you feel good and makes you feel warm and loved, and being out in the snow on your own, And as someone who grew up in New England, where I have been out in the snow on my own before, it's a pretty desolate feeling. It's almost like the other polar opposite of being in the desert alone. You know what I mean? You have the 2 extremes, the fire and ice. And then coming in out of the cold and feeling like a warm room, with a hearth and a fire, or even just even some duct
grateful.
heating. Yeah, just feeling good. What
because he says like now they've got this party going on, and he's surrounded by the people, but his point is like, you could have left me out there. I deserved it, but instead I get to be in here with you and enjoying this. And thank
gratitude
you.
is the best word to describe the emotions that I get from this song. You know what my favorite line is actually, Tracy?
I would love to hear it.
Couldn't move, and this is how you found me. So as our footprints disappeared, snow erasing how I came to be here. I don't know about you, but I heard it as snow, like there's no erasing how I came to be here. So I think it's a play on words, or maybe it's just how I heard it.
Definitely could be.
Snow erasing how I came to be here. I like that. It's like I can't make up for what I've done. I understand, that there's a reason why maybe I was on the outs with you, or whatever this is a metaphor for. But now I've got nowhere to go, and standing in the snow looking for understanding, right? So I thought that the lyrics definitely elevate it a little bit above where I probably might have rated it otherwise. It's not that I dislike the song,
No, it was very simple.
Yeah, there
musically.
wasn't a lot for me to dig my, kind of sink my teeth into musically, which is not always a bad thing. Again, I dig simplistic stuff a lot of the time. I have written a song that is entirely one chord before, so like it would be hypocritical of me to say but yeah.
Well, and Jack Black and Tenacious D have written the one note song before. So,
well, they bend it too. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it didn't hold my attention too much musically, but it wasn't bad. It was certainly around average at least. And then I think the lyrics elevated it slightly from there.
After listening to this a number of times, one of the things that hits me is depending on how long the story is that takes place in the song, so depending on the duration of the song,
right,
it has a very stalkery feel. If it's about resolving an immediate fight, not so bad. Like, he just followed her home after they fought, and he's just standing outside. Then she lets him in after an hour. That's not stalkery. That's not creepy. That's just like him being devoted and actually respecting her by staying outside. Some people actually said, like, she locked him out. There's none of that in the song. Like, it says nowhere in there that she locks him out. Matter of fact, it implies that he stays outside on his own, that he can't move, and this is where you found me. So it's kind of, he can't move because of the way he feels, not that she forced him to. But if they've been broken up for like a month and he's just standing outside in the snow staring at the house,
well, that becomes creepy. Do you think
it's a little creepy now.
Like
it's like
John Cusack holding the holding the boombox up.
But for months. It depends on what's the intention, how does the other person take it.
Well, and
then how long it goes on.
That's a whole other conversation, and I wish that Michelle were here to lend her opinion on that, because that, to me, the difference between, creepy and endearing is, first of all, mostly intent, but also, as you say, it also exists in the mind of whomever is on the receiving end of this. So, it's up to them to kind of, interpret the intent and fly. I would think, based on the way that the lyrics in the song go, since the person has been let back in, that it sounds like a positive thing on both ends. But
I would agree with you, and I would assume, just by the feel of the song and the way it goes, that it was a fight that had just happened that they're resolving.
Yeah.
But after listening to it so many times, your mind does wander and go down these really deep paths.
It goes down that dark cable guy route.
Like, how off can I make this song at this point? And my brain went pretty off. So I now want to make the horror movie of this song.
Yeah, I was literally...
or the dark comedy of this song where he's out there doing that.
I was just about to mention the different trailers that people make of, like, children's movies that they, like, put creepy music in and sound effects, and they make them look like horror films,
So what you got to do is you got to make it like Days Past, like he's standing out there with the box, but take the song and now you slow it down and warp it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna lock that in. I'm gonna do that with the computer if I have time this week. And just make it sound like it's menacing.
I'm into it.
And then put in the like creepy music in the background. Dun, 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 dun.
I stood and watched the lights go out while the snowflakes settled all around me.
The Danny Elfman remix.
Alright, I took this down a really bad path, so I'm going to turn us back around to this really beautiful song. I think
it is. It's a good song.
Gorgeous to listen to. It's relaxing and calming, which is funny because it's such a sad kind of song in many ways for the first half of it. And it has redemptive values, but the first half of it, it's kind of a happy, relaxing song, and you don't know why, because he's lost this person.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I really do hope you love Barenaked ABCs. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to us? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. I just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts, and you earn Podcoin while you listen. 1 Podcoin for every 10 minutes that you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks. And if you're a good person, you could even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. I don't know about you. I listen to a lot of podcasts during the week. I have a lot of writing to do. So, I'm earning money the whole time I'm listening to podcasts. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android. I have a special code for you. Simply for using our code, Barenaked, you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us and other people, you can get a cappuccino or Starbucks or Amazon gift card on us. So, go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with the code Barenaked.
Should we throw it over to Michelle?
I'm going to throw this over to Michelle, and then we're going to go for a rating.
Okay.
Michelle, what are your thoughts on this song?
Hi guys, this is Michelle with my thoughts on Footprints for this week. I like this song. I have to say, I like Barenaked for the Holidays. That's one of my favorite holiday albums. And this song is great. And I have to say, I like it because it's got that slightly melancholy holiday song, where did it all go wrong kind of feel to it. And this is when I love how Ed does this kind of thing. This is the kind of song from Ed that I like. It's sort of like reflective and hopeful, but a little bit on the sad side. And I had to think, when I was listening to this song, this reminds me of another kind of outside looking in song. And Tracy, you might know, I was thinking it was Christmas Picks from Jim. I thought it was a Jim song that this was reminding me of, but I don't know if that's the right one. I know we did it not that long ago, but it was sort of that I'm outside looking at the world, looking inside the windows, and I'm out here and everybody else is inside. And I can't put my finger on it. I thought it was Christmas Picks, but I don't think it's that. But anyway, I like Footprints. It's good. It's got that nice feel to it. That sort of holiday sipping scotch with ice, as the lights are twinkling behind you and the glasses are clinkling, that sort of thing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Michelle. I completely agree with everything you said.
Could not have said it better. Matter of fact, I'm going to delete everything I've said in this episode because she just made me sound like a
she
fool.
Completely invalidated both of our opinions, so...
Aaron, 0 to 5. How many footprints do you give this song?
So, again, I think musically it's about average, maybe slightly above. I think that the lyrics do elevate it quite a bit. And I was looking at some of the things that I had previously read. I think of the Christmas themed songs, obviously Deck the Stills I love just as a piece of like humor and originality and creativity. So I think that's the highest one I've rated yet. I didn't like it quite as much as Christmas Time. Oh yeah, and it's interesting because I actually went back and listened to that afterwards because I wanted to make sure that I was in agreement with that assessment, and I stand by that. However, I listened to a few other songs that I kind of thought gave me similar feelings as far as like how I felt about them and where they were quality wise, and I found myself listening to Care Less and 2020 Hindsight. That's not a pun or anything, but just 2020 Hindsight and Care Less were two songs that I kind of gravitated towards as much as like I think I would put it around here, and I do. So I'm going to give it a solid 3. Let's call it rosebuds for Citizen Kane fans. That's a deep cut there.
So you're not saying that's a deep cut. That is a very deep cut. So you're not saying that looking back on your score, you couldn't care less about.
But with 2020 hindsight, I couldn't care less. But yeah, I would give it a solid 3 rosebud toboggans. And go see Citizen Kane if you haven't. Get some culture, people.
So Michelle, how many footsteps do you give this song?
So I'm going to give this song a 3.5. You know, it's decent. It's good. It doesn't require a lot of you as a listener, but it still kind of hits you in the feels. So I give it a 3.5, and I hope you all are doing great.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting that, Michelle. Probably because I haven't heard what you have to say yet. Shattering the grand illusion, I know. We've already acknowledged she's not
The fourth
here.
wall has been blown to shreds.
Come home to the taste of shattering the grand illusion.
So, I like this song. Mm-hmm. It's not my favorite song of B&L's to begin with. It's not my favorite song on the CD either.
It's not.
It's not a bad song, though. I definitely like it better than a lot of songs. And for all it has a Christmassy feel. It's relaxing. If it comes on, I'm not going to change it. But I also don't seek it out. It is on my playlist because I do enjoy it when it comes on. But it's not like I know all the sound, all the words to the song. Given all of that, and comparing it to where the other music is, and my ratings for the other songs, I'm gonna have to give this a 3.75.
Okay, nice. How about you, Michelle?
And we already threw it.
That's
to Michelle,
right.
right?
She already gave her rating. I mean, of course she did. I was here to hear that, and she yes,
exactly. Okay. It was the best rating out of all of us. That
I
totally
agree,
made sense.
Do you like gaming? Do you like technology? Do you like movies and TV? Well, if you do, then Hazardous Verbal Waste is the podcast for you. With your host, Shiro-chan, we delve into the world of news articles covering every aspect of TV, movies, video games, emerging technology. Anything you can think of that nerds and geeks would like, this podcast has it. So why don't you go ahead and subscribe? Available on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere that podcasts are available. Remember, Hazardous Verbal Waste. It's the podcast for you.
So, the appearance for this week, of course, I'm going to try to make it match up. And it's actually, to go with the sweetness of the song, it's actually a really sweet story. Every year, there's an event called the Holiday Train Tracks. They've been doing this, I want to say, for about 18 years at this point. And what they do is they have holiday trains that go to a number of different cities across Canada and the United States. And they're 14 brightly decorated holiday rail cars with a lot of different festive themes. And they modify the box cars so that they become traveling stages for the performers with hundreds of thousands of LED Christmas lights. And the musicians traveling aboard the train will play more than 150 free concerts from the two boxcars that have been changed into rolling stages. And it was launched in 1999, and as of 2013, and I haven't gotten more updated information than this, they have raised over $7.4 million and 3 million pounds of food. And where this goes is it goes for the local community's food drives. And so when they roll up to a community, they actually will donate all the food and money that has raised at that site to a local food bank at that area. It's a free event, but people just bring non-perishable food and cash donations. And it's amazing that they do this. In 2010, they weren't able to be on the train, but what they did is they also released the Holiday Train Tracks released a CD, and they donated one of the songs from this album to the Holiday Train Tracks CD so that they could, once again, gather all this money to give to good charities. So it's really cool. It's a nice, feel-good, amazing thing that happened to give, and they still have this going on, at least as of last year, it was still happening. And they haven't updated the website, of course, in the middle of August for this year, but I would have to believe that they're going to continue doing this. So please go. I'm going to put the website up. Go see if there's any that are going near you. They do come to ones in upper the United States as well as throughout Canada. Go see this wonderful free concert that you can donate money to with the bright railroad cars. I wish they were near me so that way I would be able to bring the kids to see it, because it's actually a really cool idea and a great way to raise money for a great charity.
All right. I can't really add to that.
I'm also going to put up there 2 different versions of this song.
Oh, yeah, that's
one
right.
that was performed live, and one that came off the CD, because it's actually the Footprints song was the one that they donated to the CD that year. But the one that they did live actually has a Christmas story from Jim, which is really cool. It's a nice little, once again, makes you feel happy and smile, and it's cool.
Tracy, I think that might be part of why I rated this a little higher than I might have otherwise. I might have been a 2.8 or 9, but just having that little personal touch of the story, it reminded me of David Bowie and Bing Crosby doing the the little drummer boy, and they're talking beforehand. So I don't know. It appealed to me.
So I think that's really cool that they do all this donating for all these people that are poor and having trouble, especially around the holidays. But I hope that you guys come back next week so we can review the next song for you.
What would that be, Tracy?
Oh, the song is for you.
Oh, well, I mean, I appreciate that very much, but what's the song?
Well, it's for you.
Okay, you're starting to really confuse me here, Tracy. I just want to know the name of the song.
For you.
Are you having a stroke? I feel like I'm in Total Recall and you keep saying 2 weeks.
No, the name of the song,
the song
is For
named
You.
For You. I see. Okay.
Right.
Right. Sorry.
Right. It's named For
It's
You. It's called Aaron.
Oh, okay. Why didn't we review it back in the A's?
Oh, I got it off the list.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it.
We'll come back next week, folks, when we review Aaron.
Thanks. That was fun.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.